I really don't need to swear because I don't do swearing, but British weather is incredible. As you can see, I'm sitting down here preparing myself to go out for a little run, hence why I'm dressed up in my uniform, running uniform, so to say. I'm ready to go, but the weather today is just incredible. It's so sunny outside. It feels really amazing. You can see myself with some reflection. If you compare to what you had yesterday, as I was doing like recording, going for a run, I was just like, my goodness, this is really, really crazy. It's still cold though. I'm still gonna wear my hat when I'm going for a run, but that it is that what it is. We always talk about the weather, which is kind of really incredible. But anyway, it is what it is. You have to make sense out of what you have. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good day, depending on where you're catching us up from. I hope you're doing well on this Easter weekend. I've just been reflecting today on what happened over 2000 years ago. I would imagine on a day like this when Jesus was in the tomb, a lot of people, maybe those who had crucified him, were really rejoicing and really happy about it. But for those who had basically not crucified him but were followers of him, must have been really crying and feeling sad and sorry and thinking about, well, it's all done. On a day like this will have been really gloomy, and I can see some of you online. Thank you so much for joining. I think it must have been a very gloomy day, right? But on the other hand, it was not the end of the day, because thank God for Good Friday. But before then, before you realize, there was the Saturday, and before you realize, Sunday came and Jesus rose again, and he's no longer in the grave. Praise the Lord. He's no longer in there. So, as I was saying, he's just kind of reflecting on this weekend where we think about Christian faith, we think about what Jesus did so many years ago. But going back into my story, it's been really cold here, it's been really windy, it's been really, really unbearable weather. And so today, when it's bright and sunny, I really feel like I really want to just do this quickly. I'm going for a run. I want to catch up with my dear friend Abby at some point. But before I do that, I just thought, you know what? The weather is really amazing. So why not? I can as well just do a live stream, finish this, get it out of the way so that I can do other things. I've been thinking about a lot about conditioning and thinking about community. And hence, yesterday I was just going for a little run. I was recording something about community because for me, I think like your community, your tribe really matters, but also the conditioning that we condition ourselves. I have a water jug filter at home. I've done a few times challenges, and I've shown you guys talking about how I filter my water, etc. And I had old filters, and these old filters I used to basically use like they were like you soak them in water for a minute, you rinse them under the running water for a minute, and you're good to go. I ended up buying new filters over time. And if I am honest, in my mind, I knew the old filters and the new filters are the same thing. So I've been using these filters. This is the third time today that I've just gone into the field. I got it where I store them. I come, I open it, I rinse it under water for a minute. I put it in a container for a minute, and then I'm like, my water filter are ready to go. And today, as I was doing that, I was remembering one thing that I was talking recently to my dear friend Abby, because obviously we're doing some stuff together and we're starting a little bit of a challenge on Monday. And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about conditioning, how we condition ourselves into stuff. And then without even knowing, we just go continue doing things the way we do. And so it's this morning, as I was going to just put through the filter, because I need to change it, I change it every month. Something told me, like, Claire, read the package. So I opened the pack. I had already removed it, I had already torn everything up, and I was like, we're good to go. And then something just said to me, open and read the instructions. As I was reading the instructions, it's so different because they say I need to condition it for 5 minutes in the soaked in water, and then under running water for a minute, and then I put in the jug with clean water, leave it to drain, then empty off the water, put the new one again, leave it to drain, empty off the water, and then after that, I will have my filtered water ready to go, right? Conditioning. Because in my reflex conditioned mode, I was just like, these filters work the same. I don't need to worry about it. I need to care about it. It's the same. I go along, right? But then when I started to think about, let me check, I've realized maybe for 1 or 2 times we've drank water that was not properly filtered because of my conditioned reflect actions, just doing things because we do that. And that's how it happens with our food. Sometimes we eat just because it is time for eating. There are times that we don't think even about it. As I said, like at home when I was growing up, we knew dinner time was like, if it's 7 p.m., everybody was home at 7 p.m. We sat down, we made, like I remember even a time when we used to use measuring cups, and we'll know if we are 16 people for dinner, we'll need 8 cups of whatever, and then we cook that, we'll sit down, we'll serve. Almost everything was, without even thinking about it. And that's how sometimes you get to our lives. You get to a point where like, just, you can eat whatever you eat. You wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is reach out for a cup of tea or reach out for whatever it is, and you have that every single day. It gets to a point, it's just the normal you, right? It's the way you do things, it's the way you're conditioned. But sometimes when we want to really be able to have a change or see a change, it might just need sometimes shifting around. It might need a little bit of like readjustment, where you'll tell yourself, okay, Claire, this is how I'm conditioned to eat, but is this helping? Is this fit for purpose? Going back to my water jar, my family has drunk maybe unfiltered water with a filter in it that could have potentially been useful, but it never got to be used because me, thinking of myself the way I'm conditioned, I've been doing the wrong thing. And so that's why it is important for us to realize, if we get to a point where we decide to want to make some changes to our lives, or want to make some changes to how we eat, we feed, and things like that, it has to go back to that place of kind of telling yourself, what is it that I'm conditioned to? What is it that I am constantly doing? If it is a good habit, keep it up. But if it's not helping you in your journey, why do you want to continue holding on that thing that is hurting you? Why do you want to continue holding on that thing that is not useful to you in any sense? That is why when it comes to like some of our eating habits, we constantly are eating every so often, every single day, that our body's insulin is constantly on the spike. And no wonder we are getting to places where we have things like all these diet-related diseases that we could potentially easily avoid by kind of just getting to a point of saying to ourselves, let's kind of try to reprogram, try to reset the way we eat. We're eating so much, number one, and we're eating so frequently that we're not allowing our bodies enough time to start to break down what they need to break down before we can refeed and give ourselves a new food. And so that is why sometimes it gets to a point, as I said, we are kind of battling diseases of affluence, as they call them. We are battling with things like diabetes, type 2 diabetes. We're battling with cancers, some of the things that we can easily avoid. And so if you want to really get to a point and you're feeling like, I want to be serious about this, I want to make a change, I want to make a transition, probably the first thing you need to do is to reprogram yourself, to recondition or uncondition and recondition yourself in a way that works out for you. And one of the things that I usually think of, the best way to do that is establishing good, healthy relationships with food. But some of the ways in which you can do this actually, or have these healthy relationships, can begin by, number one, trying to look at the number of times that you eat, or how many times, or the frequency of how you eat through the day. Some of us eat like maybe 5, 6, 7. Sometimes they say small portions over the time spread are good, but some of us eat more than that, and we are eating really huge portions. So it might get to a point where we decide and say like, okay, I'm gonna look at the portions that I'm eating, but also on top of looking at the portions that I'm eating, I want to be able as well to control when I'm eating. And hence, that is why time restricted feeding is a good thing, or sometimes people call it intermittent fasting, whatever you call it. I don't want to really go into the details about that, but it could be just restricting the time, the window within which you're eating, and the window with which you are fasted or you're not eating. You can begin this really by yourself very easily by just saying like, there are different modes of fasting. You can do 16/8, or you can do 18:6, where within the 24 hours when you're awake, you choose the window within which you will be eating and the window within which you will not be eating. And once you choose those windows, your eating and non-eating and fasted windows, you might want to be a bit more careful as well, thinking about what am I eating, so that during the fasted period you can drink water, you can have like your coffees and teas, but just stray away a little bit from, maybe if you're having 5 sugars, you might want to reduce every single day or every other day, maybe half a teaspoon or a teaspoon, until you kind of really are very low on the sugar. If you're having milk as well, be careful, don't put too much milk in there, because you want to try and restrict the calories that you're having within that window. And then when you're having your feeding window, you want to try and encourage yourself to ensure that you're feeding on kind of like foods that are dense in nutrients in terms of fruits and vegetables. You're still staying hydrated, you're eating your fibers, you're ensuring that if you're eating, let's say, carbohydrate, try to go for the complex carbohydrate so that your body gets some time to break it. Some of it might not necessarily all be broken within the body, and it gets all the way into the gut. It gets fermented to produce some of these short chain fatty acids, which are really good for the gut, which are also good as harvesters of energy, and they can help with things like regulating or things like weight, but also can help with things like gut. The healthy gut can help with things like mood. Healthy gut can help with things like your mental well-being, can help with things like immune function, etc. And I'll talk a little bit about the gut later on, but I've also made some videos about the gut. If you want to, I will link them in the description box below, so you can have a look at that later on. So when you're doing this, what is the best thing to do? If you're starting fasting, for example, intermittent fasting or time restricted eating, it can be daunting to do it as a person, as an individual. Doing it alone can be really tricky, can get to a point that you're feeling like, you know what, it can be really restrictive. It can be really difficult to think about it by yourself and things like that. But what else can you ever do? The best thing to do is to kind of think, who is it that I can do it, and doing it within a community, doing it with like-minded people. And that's what I was saying yesterday, that your community matters. Who are you doing life with? If you're feeling like you're falling down, who is that person that you can reach out to say, well, today I'm struggling with my diet, or today I'm struggling with this and this. Can you please help me? Shall we do it all together? And that's where your community comes in. That's why your community matters in all these things. And hence the reason why we're doing this. For example, I'm doing it with a group of other ladies, but I will be coming here. I'm not going to be running the challenge on this channel, because it's not the challenge for this channel. As I said, is an initiative by my dear friend Abby, that we're doing it together with other ladies. But I just want to come to encourage you guys, and I will be bringing some of the things which I think are important, posting them on here, so that we can all as well benefit from this whole journey. So if you're new here, I've started by talking a lot without saying who I am. You might be thinking, who is this woman? What is she talking about? My name is Claire. I am a registered nutritionist, and I'm an enthusiast of healthy living. Hence the reason why I'm dressed the way I'm dressed, because I'm actually just going out for a run. But because the weather is so nice, you can see, I decided to do a quick recording before I disappear. And so this is, I'm the founder of this channel, and it gives me so much privilege and pleasure to come and share various aspects of nutrition, and believe in total wellness, because I believe that we have been given our bodies so that we can prosper and be in good health, even as our souls prosper. And so I thank you so much for dropping by, for watching this. If you're watching it live now, or you're watching it in years, months, ages to come, thank you so much for dropping by. If you haven't done so, why not consider supporting what you're doing by just clicking on that like, sharing, or a subscribe button? It will go a long way in supporting what we're doing. I hope you have a lovely Easter. My prayer is that you will be able to understand what are the things that you've conditioned yourself to. If they're not helping you, uncondition or recondition yourself to healthy habits. And if you're looking for somewhere where you can start, why not join the tribe? Why not come back here? Just scroll through the channel. You'll find so much on so many different helpful things. Until next time, I pray that you will know you're loved, you're celebrated and appreciated. Have a great Easter, and I shall catch up again with another recording or live stream very soon. God bless and much love. Bye-bye.